Yeah, welcome to another biology lesson where we are going to share the characteristics of vertebrates. Characteristics of vertebrates. Of course, vertebrates are animals with a backbone. Vertebrates are animals with a backbone. So, in this lesson, we'll share different groups of vertebrates. And these groups, we have fish. When we discuss about fish, we'll discuss about amphibians. And then we'll discuss about reptiles, then we talk about birds, birds will end up with mammals. All these are the 5 groups of vertebrates. Now, let us begin with fish. Fish is another big group of vertebrates. All fish live in water, and their bodies are covered with scales. And they have gills for breathing, and have fins for movement. Of course, here I have an example of a fish. Despite there are so many species of fish, but here we have only the one diagram of a tilapia fish. So here we have some external parts of this fish. You may study these external parts, and you can master their names. So, like what I've already said, there are so many species of fish all over the world in big water bodies and even in smaller water bodies. Then, we also have another group of invertebrates, which could be amphibians. So, the word amphibia comes from amphibi, which means the do or to. So, they live in both land and in water. They live on land, in both land and in water. So, which means the amphibians have those characteristics which can enable them to live in water and again on land. And there are several varieties of amphibians. Some of these could be the nets, the salamanders, the toads, and the frogs. The more common ones could be the toads and the frogs. So they have the mucus glands under their skin to keep the skin moist. So young amphibians have gills and live in water. Adults live on land. So here are some of the diagrams which you can see to understand more about these amphibians. So here are examples of these amphibians. This is a diagram of a frog, and this is a diagram of a toad, and here we have the salamander. Unfortunately, we don't have the diagram of the nets. So these are the amphibians, and they fall under the group of the vertebrates. Then we may continue by also looking at another group, which is the reptiles. So the word reptile comes from Latin reptilis, which means to claw. Yes. So reptiles move by creeping or crawling. So examples are snakes, the turtles, tortoises, crocodiles, and lizards. There are so many species of snakes, even tortoise, such kind of things. So, which means this also is a very vast group of vertebrates which accommodates a lot of animals in this group. So, here we have an example of a lizard. Mind you, we have just brought so many about these examples. So, here we have a lizard. And this lizard has got so many parts as well, external parts. You can see here we have the ear, and then the forelimbs, the hind limbs, and then the tail. Here we have the digit. Further, to see examples of reptiles, here we have the snake. Of course, it was captured in the bush. Still more, we have a crocodile here, and then the tortoise, and here we have the chameleon. So reptiles also falls under the vertebrates, and all these animals have the backbones, and this also accommodate a very good number of animals under this group. Now we may have birds. Yeah, so another group of these vertebrates could be birds. So birds have bodies covered with feathers, and their legs are covered with scales. Their legs are covered with scales. And their front limbs are in the form of wings. Birds, most of them, or I should say all of them, they have wings. And they have beaks, which they use them for feeding. They have beaks for feeding. And there are many examples of birds. Some are as follows: the hawks, sparrows, then eagles, chicken, ostriches, parrots, seagulls, and many others. All right? So here I have some of examples of these birds, which could be very easier for me to capture for you. But some you also observe yourself in any environment which you might visit. So here we have parts of a hen. This is a chicken, and then the guinea fowl. Then here we have also a duck. To add more examples on the birds, we have the turkey and the eagle, then the weaver bird, then the dove here. So these are examples of birds, just to mention very few of them. But also the group of birds is covering a lot of species again, which are found in the environment. Yeah, now we have the last group, which are the mammals. The mammals. So the word mammals comes from the Latin word, which is a mammalia, which means the mammary glands. The mammary glands. In female, it is the organs that secretes milk. The mammals, they have mammary glands, and these mammary glands are found in female mammals. And these female mammals, they secrete milk. So their external features in mammals include the presence of mammary glands, bodies covered with hair or fur, external ears, and differentiated teeth. Some examples of mammals include the cats, dogs, cows, sheep, goats, whales, spiny anteaters, and the polar bears, bats, kangaroos, among others. You may be surprised I've been mentioning about some species like the whales. Of course, a whale, it is regarded as a mammal's whale, one of the bigger mammals which are surviving on this earth. They normally survive in water, could be falling under the species of fish, but these also have characteristics of mammals. Even the bat has got wings, more like a bird, but this bat also has got characteristics similar to mammals. That's why it falls under mammalias. So these are some of the examples of mammals. But mammals also covers a lot of examples all over the world, because this is also one of the biggest group of vertebrates which has got a lot of examples. Now, here we have some diagrams of examples of mammals. So here we have a cow, and these are sheep. These are sheep. More examples like the zebra, lion, a kangaroo is here, then the rabbit, then here we have the bat. So all these are examples of mammals. All these are examples of mammals. So we have just shared groups of vertebrates where we talk about fish, and we have just mentioned examples of fish like the tilapia, chambo, whatever you can get from the groups of fish. And then we discussed about the amphibians, where we talked about the salamanders, toads, and frogs. And then we discussed about the reptiles, where we discussed about the snakes and the tortoise, the chameleons, the lizards. And then the birds where we talk about all birds which survive on this universe. And then we have finished by discussing about the mammals, and the mammals we may talk about the zebra, lions, kangaroo, rabbit, or in general, those which bear live young ones, and then they have mammary glands for them to feed their babies, which secrete milk. So yeah, that has been our lesson for today. And as you review this lesson, I understand you answer properly these questions. Yeah, so you may also observe that these questions, they also happen to have some questions from our previous activity where we were discussing about the characteristics of invertebrates. If you may review that topic as well and then continue with this topic, you'll properly answer this revision exercise. Thank you. That has been George Chapusa. I thank you. The other time we meet in this biology lesson, we shall discuss about nutrition in human. Nutrition in human. Thank you very much for loving biology. Thank you.